Yo, 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 welcome back to the Out of the Box Show. I'm John Wallace alongside my co-host James Luffy, and we are back in the podcast booth. Not Wooth, booth. We are back in the podcast booth. Got an exciting, but probably a little bit shorter of an episode this week. LSU baseball didn't go on the road to South Carolina and lose. They also didn't go on the road to South Carolina and win, which is, I always say whenever I leave the casino, if I could just break even, I'd be winning. So LSU went up to South Carolina, split the series. Game 3 got rained out. The LSU gymnastics team, bet you didn't think we were talking about that today. LSU gymnastics team headed to Fort Worth.
Yep, they're there.
I believe it was this morning or yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
I think their plane got stuck in the mud. I saw.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Which I didn't. I was unaware that
you saw Livy's Snapchat story.
I did not.
Is that what you're saying?
No, I did not.
Okay.
It was I work in the Advocate building, and I saw it. They got a little
Mm-hmm.
monitor that says all the headlines, but and I kind of manipulate the headlines to what I want to see in a given day. But
yeah,
no, I mean it's just kind of an odd headline. LSU plane gets stuck in the mud. I was not aware that they parked planes in the grass or the mud or anything.
It was slippery. It slipped off the tracks.
I mean, we live in a swamp with alligators and crocodiles in our backyard, so I guess it's not that uncommon. Little Masters recap. I'm sure you and I were talking before we started recording. You got a little bit of beef with Brooks Koepka, and we got a few announcements. We got a little sponsor announcement that I'm gonna tease today. So I guess we'll jump right into it. I talked to Blaine Loop this morning, probably about 8 a.m. this morning, and he called me and he said, John, I just wanted to let you know, have y'all recorded the podcast this week? I said, no. He said, I want you to announce that I'm making a power move. He is changing up what he's going to be doing. Still going to be doing real estate, still going to be slinging, but might be doing it under a new umbrella. I don't know. We'll see. Blaine is pumped. He is making power moves behind the scenes. You don't have to see every power move for it to be a power move. Blaine wants to help you. His personal cell is 504-858-0031 for all your housing needs. Don't hit him up to ask him what's going on, though. Let's wait for that. But if you do need help with real estate, if you want to buy a home, sell a home, rent out a home, or find somewhere for you to rent, call or text Blaine at 504-858-0031. Big announcement coming next week. Everyone's
going to be ready by next week.
Everybody's going to be sitting on their hands.
Okay.
And they're going to be just chomping at the bit to get that.
No doubt.
I felt like I just had to tease that.
No, yeah. I have to.
Also, huge shout out to the Boot Crew Media Network. Content is rampant this time of year. Got the NFL draft next week.
Yeah.
They're always big on covering that for the Saints.
Pels play in, win or go home. You'll know, I guess, by the time you're listening to this.
Yes. Either way, Pro Pels Talk will be all over it. And the Pelicans Report, as well as on bootcrewmedia.com. Make sure to check it out. All right. James, we were texting during the whole LSU baseball series. And like we said last week, it was a great weekend. You had LSU baseball. You had the Masters, all kind of good stuff. But we went up there and split the series. As we kind of mentioned at the beginning of the show, we didn't lose the series and we didn't win. Although at a certain point, Thursday and Friday, it looked like we were there was a potential for us to get swept. Things were not looking our best. I guess we'll just kind of roll into game 1. It was kind of brutal. Yeah. But I think the main thing that kind of shook up LSU's rhythm and got us off track is the weather delay.
Yeah, the rain delay. You throw short. I mean, you throw Skeens out there, and then he's not able to go back in after an hour or so off. Yep. So that really hurt us. And that was one thing that we just kind of were hoping going into the game wouldn't happen because, as we know, we're starting to get thin on the pitching right now with all the injuries.
Yeah, I mean, it just stinks. Like it's almost like there's nothing you could do to plan for this. You have to on the road in the SEC against, I believe South Carolina was the number 5 team whenever we played them on Thursday night. You have to start the best pitcher in the country, right? You can't try to save him and play the weather game because, I mean, who's to say that the other 2 games wouldn't have got played and then he wouldn't have played at all. So he pitched phenomenally for the first 3 innings. They did give up. He did give up his first home run of the season in the first inning, a 2-run shot by their right fielder, Ethan Petrie, who ended up being kind of a thorn in LSU's side for the evening. But all that to say, for Skeens, he threw 3 innings, gave up 3 runs, 2 hits, had 8 strikeouts.
Yeah. He was fine.
In 3 innings, you only can strike out 9. That's the max you can strike out.
Yeah.
He struck out 8. So he was doing well, right?
Yeah.
You're going to give up a jack here and there. Arkansas is a fantastic hitting team. But
you know how you can strike out more than 9, John?
No.
Air.
Does that count like that?
Yeah.
Say the catcher,
strikeout air.
Catcher drops it?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, last time I checked, Rory was the lawyer on this podcast, not you. So I don't need you to find the loopholes in my statistics.
No, I know what you're saying, but
no, but I mean, even that's what Jay Johnson said today on, whenever he was describing Skeen's performance. Yeah. But anyway, hour delay got LSU out of their rhythm. And then it was all kind of downhill from there. South Carolina ended up winning 13-5 on only 8 hits. South Carolina only had 8 hits on the night.
We've struggled with walks this past weekend, and seems like Michael Bucknam came in the game, and
6 runs,
and that kind of triggered a lot of people online to say Jay Johnson threw the game, knowing we were down, and kind of saved everything for the Saturday. What we thought was games, but was just one game, and it did kind of feel like that to me a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's kind of reaching to say that he threw the game.
Not throw,
but as a
like
baseball coach, you have to strategize.
And it was an experiment. Who knows? This kid could have come out there who hasn't thrown in any SEC games or really any big spots all year and done really well. But I think that he was taking a risk, I guess you could say.
Well, that's what Jay Johnson does.
Yeah.
He's done that all year,
and he had to do it last year a lot, and that's kind of what's coming back around this year.
Well, you do it on the road against a tough SEC opponent midway through the schedule and just see what happens. He knows we have ball players. I mean, we'll get to the Friday game, but he knows we have guys that can come back from a significant, margin that we're down. And we proved that on Friday. But yeah, I mean, another thing that I kind of, there's just a few things here and there I wanted to point out. Beloso, 2-run home run in the 8th. Yeah. Jordan Thompson was 2 for 4 with do I have 2? I think he scored 2 runs, or maybe I don't know. I have 2 HR written, but I think he had 2 hits and 1 run. But either way, yeah, I mean the game went downhill mainly when Buckman came in. That right fielder that was a voice crack. Right fielder for South Carolina. He had 8 RBIs in 1 game. Can you imagine if you could do that every game?
Yeah, that'd be nice. You'd have a lot of RBIs.
Baseball player hitter of all time. Yeah. So all that to say, it was a beatdown, and I'm blaming it all on the weather. I'm interested in weather, and things were looking okay. Not the best before that. I mean, it was 3-1 going into the delay, but when it rains, it pours, right?
Yeah, no doubt. And I mean, at this point, pitchers injured right now that are not playing. Chase Shores, which they don't know if he's going to come back. It doesn't sound good. Grant Taylor out for the year. Edwards currently out, which he's come in and really been our best reliever, along with Shores. He's out currently. I think they said he was not going to throw this weekend, right? I think Jay Johnson said he was not throwing.
Shores or Edwards?
Edwards. Shores is definitely not throwing this weekend.
Yeah, Shores.
I think that he said that Edwards was not going to throw. Guys that got hurt before the season, Newt and Appleby, and then Javon Coleman, they said maybe will pitch this year. But
Jay Johnson said,
how big of a role will he play coming back off of an elbow injury? I don't know, but he will be an important piece if he's able to come back, because it's really looking thin right now. And then, it's Ackenhausen with the hamstring, but he should be all right. I would hope. So banged up right now. It seems like it's back to last year and having to string these games together with some relief pitching and score a lot of runs. And the bats are going to have to carry us like they did on Saturday.
Yeah, Friday. But Yeah, that just blows my mind every
And
time. Thursday,
and I
Friday,
feel like it's
Saturday.
been so long since we played a game because we only played Thursday and then Friday morning.
Right. Well, that's what Jay Johnson was saying, is that it was the first. This is the first time this season that LSU hadn't played a baseball game in 3 days. Normally, it's like a quick 2-day turnaround. Most of our midweek games have been on Tuesday.
Yeah,
and then the Thursday series have kind of been dominating. But yeah, I mean, kind of going back to the pitchers, experimenting with Bucknam. I mean, I think he's doing what he can with what he has, and he's desperately looking for guys that he can trust. And I think it's going to happen. I think it's going to take patience, and I think he's essentially riding our batting order until we get to that point.
Yeah.
I did hear him say the other day that you mentioned Javen Coleman. He did throw his first bullpen against live batters the other day, which is a step in the right direction. You can take that for what it is. I don't know how many pitches he threw, but all that to say, we need some guys to step up and get well.
And you really need Thatcher Hurd to find who he is and who he was last year, then even in a couple outings where he was good this year, because you need him to get that confidence back.
Yeah, I haven't given up hope on him.
No, we really need him to be a guy.
Yeah. And who knows? This may be a good weekend at the Box to trot him back out there. He pitched a little bit in the midweek game last night, but we'll kind of see what happens. I don't think Jay's made any announcements on that yet. But getting to game 2 on Friday, I was actually in a car for this entire game. I listened to the entire thing on the radio. And I was trying to watch on an iPad, but the radio was before the iPad, so it was like I kind of got to watch it, but not really. This game was frustrating. This game was very frustrating. It felt like nothing was going our way, and honestly, we were texting about it throughout the game, and it just kind of felt like LSU was going to get swept if they ended up playing that third game. Like you said, the pitching staff was depleted. LSU was on the road, tough environment, bad weather. South Carolina jumps out to an early 4-0 lead in the second inning. They scored 3 runs in the 5th, and you get to the top of the 8th, and it's 7-3. And LSU and Gavin Dugas have done what Gavin Dugas has done for pretty much his entire career at LSU is be clutch.
Yeah, I feel like we say it every week.
No, right.
He's just the guy you want up in a big spot.
Right. I mean, him and Jordan Thompson, I think, are 2 of the most, like me and you were talking about, the most clutch hitters on the team. And I think Dugas is obviously the guy as far as that goes. But a grand slam to tie it in the top of the 8th. And then, what do you know? Cruz gets on base and Beloso knocks him in the 9th to go ahead and win it 8-7. Beloso's
he's been hot recently. He was good again in the midweek game against Tulane.
Yep.
And Tommy Tanks has been an RBI machine as well.
Yep. It's just the grit in this team. The only thing, I mean, you got to think about it. We have not lost a series this year, and we played 4 top 10 teams.
Yeah, we kind of played a half series last weekend, but
no, right. But I mean, we all that to say, we played 2 out of 3. I mean, we have not lost a series yet. I mean, the problem is that, and that everybody knows, is that if you don't have a deep enough pitching staff in Omaha, that's where you run into trouble, because you play many games in a row and guys don't have enough time to get their rest. That's what our main issue.
John, you asked me last week what the biggest concern was, and I said, injuries. Like that is the biggest thing, and we got guys like Griffin Herring gonna have to come in. He might be a starter. You don't know. It's just there's new guys that are going to have to step up, and maybe some old guys like Hurd and Little who have experienced pitchers that can find it again.
And like we said, you don't have to come in and throw 12 strikeouts, 6 innings, 100 pitches, 102 miles an hour like Skeens. You don't have to do that. It's maintaining, put the ball in play. That's what they used to tell me when I was pitching. Now, I wasn't a good pitcher, but as long as you put the ball in play, we have guys that can make plays in the field. Like it's not like we're trying to strike every batter out. But I think our problem is not being able to locate, giving up too many walks consecutively, and just not finding a groove and letting other teams string together hits. On the other hand, South Carolina is a very good hitting team.
Yeah, good hitting team. Some really experienced hitters, and then the RPI came out. Kentucky, who we play this weekend, is number 1. South Carolina. Sorry if I'm stealing your stats, John.
I heard this today on the radio.
South Carolina 3 and LSU 4. Arkansas 6. Who? So we would have played, 3 of the top 6, with us in there. So really 3 of the top 5 RPI teams after this weekend. So we've had a tough schedule coming up, and I mean, Tennessee's 23, State's at 25. So, and then we'll have Ole Miss coming up soon too, and they're down at 55, struggling right now, but they might have their guy back by the time they get to us. But pitching's really banged up right now. You got to hope Edwards can come back and pitch as good as he has pitched, and you really hope Shores can come back, but it doesn't seem likely at this point, or at least anytime soon. And then I'd really like to see Thatcher Hurd get going, and maybe Riley Cooper has struggled some this year. Maybe even though they did start him in that one game, the first series of the weekend, I wouldn't be surprised if to see him on Sunday again starting.
Yeah, I mean, I Jay Johnson. I don't know. I mean, like as you say that, I'm sitting here thinking like Riley Cooper. Last year it was literally like, oh, we're going to the bullpen. Riley Cooper's coming in. It seemed like every game he pitched.
Yeah.
He's kind of used him sparingly this year. I don't know what the deal is with that. Maybe he's just trying to experiment. He knows he can.
And he's given us some good outings, but he's struggled at times.
Yeah. On Friday, we also got to see Floyd. He kind of got hit around for 4 walks, 2 strikeouts, gave up 4 runs in 3 innings. Like you said, Edwards came in, did decently, did give up 3 runs. Herring, Cooper, and then Guidry. Guidry came in for the last 1 and 2/3 innings. And
yeah. Shout out Gavin Guidry. We haven't mentioned that. I mean, he was really good. He had pitched. I watched him, 3 or 4 times in the midweek. I think he'd only pitched 3.5 innings, 3 1/3. Something like that.
Not a ton, but when he's come in,
pre coming in the other night, and he had he has that nice breaking ball working, and he has that fire about him that he really wants to get people out. And if he gets in there and throws strikes, I think they're going to continue to give him chances because he's got that dog in him. Both of our Gavins, they got that dog.
Yeah, you get every time you say Gavin in the group text, I start to vent and Dugas. Yeah. I'm like, what are you talking about, man? But you gotta just say that Guidry's Guidry and Dugas is Dugas, and roll with that. It's hard whenever I've been dealing with that my whole life. Named John, I got 3 or 4 of them in my family. You gotta just call people by their last name. So yeah, it's guys like him that really help you out in an Omaha type situation, and that's kind of hope. I mean, yeah, he's a young guy. Yeah, he was brought in to be an infielder, and nobody expected this, but to be a contributor, you got to dig deep, and you got to find guys that you would have never thought would have been pitchers in the fall.
Yeah, credit to Jay and staff for switching him over, and knowing he's not probably going to play shortstop this year, and hey, let's work on his pitching if he can help us out, and he has. He won us a game the other night, so a lot of credit to him.
All right, let's talk about Tulane for 2-minute drill, and then we'll clean that up. LSU whacked Tulane last night, 11-5, 19 hits. LSU did have 2 errors, but
we've struggled a little bit in the field as of recently, and that's one thing that needs to ratchet up instead of ratchet down with the pitching banged up.
Yep. We got to see Little, Money, Collins, Dutton, Cooper, Hurd. Nobody really threw for that long except for Christian Little, I believe. Was that him that you were saying?
Yeah, and Dutton came in and did a nice job. Yeah. Little threw the first inning, and he threw like 40-something pitches. Yeah. He's really struggling to locate right now, and he's a guy that I think needs to step they need to step up. Veteran guy. He's pitched a lot in his career, and same with Blake Money, who seems to be struggling again. So, we're working on finding something. I think Sammy Dutton came in and threw pretty well. So it was
you okay?
I'm podcasting through injury tonight, so bear with me. Playing hurt. So I think that someone's gonna have to step up there in a big way, and I think that Sammy could do it. Who do you like coming out of that?
I really, I mean, dude, if you like, and I've said this before on the podcast, but like Blake Money, for whatever it is, was it last year that he was our Friday night guy to start the season? Granted, the pitching staff was nowhere near
and had a couple good games, had a couple really good games to start the year.
But I mean, even if you could come in on a weekend and pitch 3 innings and just kind of eat it up, I want Cooper to kind of get back to that just consistent, like what you're going to get from him, and I think Hurd needs to. He's going to find it. I'm not losing faith in that. I do think Hurd's going to find it. I just, we talked about it last week. Do you kind of relegate him to a midweek game? Now, do I think he probably would have pitched game 3, this past weekend? Very likely. Maybe not started, but gotten in some meaningful innings. But it's going to be interesting to see what he does, what Jay Johnson does this weekend, coming back to the box against Kentucky. Kentucky's going to be another tough test for this team. Not the best team we faced all year, not, the 2 or 3 best teams we faced all year, but the number 12 team coming in on D1 baseball. One more note from the LSU Tulane game on Tuesday night. Morgan, Beloso, and Jones had 3 hits. Beloso is killing it right now. Jones is doing what he does.
And coming up in clutch spots too. Yeah. Jared Jones mashed some balls last night. That like double he hit in the gap was absolutely annihilated. I don't know what the bat speed was because it was or the ball speed was because it was an away game. I don't know if they posted it, but it was crushed. And that's a big boy. Kling got hurt.
Yep.
So hopefully he can come back. Jay Johnson said that it looked pretty severe. Will we see him back? Maybe not until the postseason, I'll say, which sucks to say, but the report that Jay saying severe today was not good.
With him going out, yes, he has been a contributor this year, but as far as like depth goes there, we're going to be okay in the outfield.
So who do you think's going to play out of Joe Bear and Pearson?
It's kind of tough to say. I mean, the story about Joe Bear is that he's hot and he's cold.
Yeah.
He can make plays in the field. I believe he played a little bit last night, right?
Yeah, he did. He started last night.
Yeah. So he
hit home run.
Yeah. I mean, I think, I don't know. In my opinion, I'm more of the go with the power, go with Joe Bear. I'd feel maybe a little more confident with Pearson in the field, but I'm sticking with Joe Bear.
All right.
Or we could get really crazy. Put Beloso in left, Morgan in right, Jones at first, DH Joe Bear.
Yeah,
I'm just making up stuff here.
No, I thought you were trying to get Ethan Fry into the lineup, which he was highly recruited. We haven't get to see him this much, right. But if both of them struggle, maybe they would try to find a way to stick him in there.
Yep. I do like Milazzo starting last night just to keep him.
He's hitting 409, John. He's hitting 409.
Yeah.
That's he's gotten enough at bats, where we have a big enough sample size. Granted, there's been more bats during the midweek, but he was going to start that 3rd game, is what Jay said.
I mean, I like that on a doubleheader.
And give your freshman a break. He's actually kind of going through a little mini slump right now. I think he'll be fine.
Yep.
But yeah.
All right. Well,
Kentucky, you got any Kentucky
notes?
Well, number 1 RPI is a big note.
Well, we're gonna get to your bet that it was a would-be cash.
Yeah.
They say would-be tackler, it was a would-be cash,
but it was trash.
Yeah.
It was trash
situation.
And if you have trash, John, you know who to call.
Who?
You got to call Martine at Workbox. It's 225-343-4886. Or if you need a porta potty, a roll-off dumpster, luxury restroom rentals, storage containers, portable office, call Martine at Workbox. It's 225-343-4886. Call Martine at Workbox if you need a storage container, portable office, portable restroom rental, or roll-off dumpster. Call Martine at Workbox.
All right, this weekend coming back to the box, another Thursday, Friday, Saturday series against number 12 Kentucky. That's the D1 baseball ranking. They're 27-5 on the year, 9-3 in conference play. Some of their notable SEC series: they swept Mississippi State. They got the W in the Bama series, didn't sweep. They swept Missouri, and then they just lost a series to Georgia in Georgia, who is 18-15 on the season this past weekend in Georgia. So back-to-back road weekends for Kentucky coming to the box. As you mentioned, they are the number one RPI team in college baseball at the moment. But I know there's more that goes into it than your record and who you played, and RPI is a big calculation. But this is kind of like not to make this like take them lightly, but this is kind of a step back that LSU is going to be facing, given that we've played, Tennessee, who was right there, when they were, I think they were 10, 11, 12, right? When we played them, we played the number 5 team this past weekend. We played A&M, who was highly ranked. I mean, it's going to be a challenging series.
I think this is a solid. Yeah, I think this is a solid team.
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying it's slightly better situation, and you're back at the box.
Yeah, I think being back at the box is good for us. You can really see what the fans did in that Tennessee series, and I think they're going to be back out in full force again this weekend. I'm excited to try to go, maybe to 1 or 2 games, but yeah, I'm excited. I think it's a good challenge. We're really going to kind of find out where we at. Yeah. Because of the depth and the pitching, and everyone seems maybe a little bit down right now on the team. Let's see how they kind of fight back this weekend.
I think we're going to be all right. I think at worst, we win the series. At best, we sweep the series.
Okay.
But you know what I'm kind of dreading? I always do kind of predict us to sweep just because I'm a homer, but we're going to lose a series this year.
Yeah, no doubt.
And it just seems like, it seems like the latter half of our season is
coming, John, and I think that it
might be this weekend. Unfortunately,
not going to be this weekend. It's be 2-1 Tigers.
Okay, well there you go.
The box is the difference.
There you have it. Well, if you're
Skeen's coming for revenge too.
Oh,
after last week,
dude. Skeen's, throwing 8.
It's a Skeen's revenge game.
8 strikeouts in 3 innings. If he pitched his normal 6, then he would have had 16 strikeouts.
Yeah,
that's good math right
there.
You go. All right. Well, if you're going out to the box this weekend, make sure to download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use promo code BOOT, bet just $5 and get $200 in free bets if your team wins. That's promo code BOOT, bet just $5 and get $200 in free bets if your team wins. 21 plus restrictions apply. See show notes for details. All right, Luffy. Give us your Masters recap.
Well, Brooks Koepka ruined Easter. Well, and that's for everybody. Brooks. And that's for everybody because it was boring. He was up so much. John was somewhere we didn't have a TV, which is just.
I was on a family vacation.
It's embarrassing.
I was on a family vacation at a hotel that didn't have a damn TV.
That doesn't sound pleasant.
It was good. It was a good trip.
It was a good trip. All right. But he just made the Masters boring when he didn't make those birdies on 2 and 8, which are 2 of the easier holes, the par 5s on the golf course. And John Rahm is just a machine. And I like Rahm. Nothing against Rahm, but I really wanted it to go down to that 18th hole. It just gets the juices flowing, whether you have money on it or whether you don't. I think everyone wants to see that drama, and the groups in front of them played so slow. Cantlay and then the amateur in the group in front of theirs was just painfully slow out there, and that hurt Brooks a little bit, but no excuses for him. He didn't have it. You could tell from early on. He didn't make a putt all day Sunday. They played 1.5 rounds.
Yeah, and I was following it and I was keeping up with it, but no, I was not able to watch it. But I was amazed that they were actually able to finish on Sunday, given the rain delays. I think the rain delay messed Brooks up too. I think
definitely.
That's what happens. That sucks for him, but at the same time, it's like you got to play the best 72 holes of your life to win the Masters.
And Rahm 4-putted the first hole and was on the bad side of the draw weather-wise. So,
yeah, no, I mean that's
no
excuse or anything. It just sucks.
Yeah, yeah.
But I guess that's the way the ball drops in the hole. But Lovey, cashed your top 20 call.
Yes, you did. The lock one. How about that?
Yes, that was a
I think
a great stimulus for my betting
I think
account.
he finished 10th, so we were right in the middle. Didn't really putt it well. He hit it solid for him, but he's a guy that you like top 20 in the majors because he brings it on major weeks always. But sometimes he has bad putting weeks, so you want to bet him that top 20 to get a little cushion. But usually get it. It's like an even odds, like betting it, a football game,
Yep,
or something like that. So good value there.
Overall, then the tree fell on 17.
Yeah,
that was
crazy.
Kind of scary.
It almost took out our good friend and logo designer Jared Slyman.
He was at the Masters.
Yeah.
Awesome, guys. That would be so awesome. God,
I know.
We gotta
we gotta go.
I mean, media passes, media credentials for the podcast.
Yeah. We could get chosen to play if that happened.
Chosen to play.
If they choose, there's like a lottery drawing for media members the next day, and they get to play it on Monday, and they all write articles. I saw like 1 billion.
Can you imagine
today
we're out
and yesterday?
There, I'd sneak my phone onto the course and take a picture of the green, send it to everybody I knew.
Tackled.
Nah, I mean honestly, it's not even funny, but I would be sitting there. I'd want to play it obviously, but all that sandwich menu,
dude,
just looks
the prices.
It's just
the
absurd.
Beer prices.
Oh my god! I mean,
the merch.
Yeah. Speaking of that,
yes,
that's
a perfect segue.
Right. No, it is. But speaking of, and yeah, I'll kind of tie it in. But if you ever go to Gatlinburg, with your
get a working TV.
If you ever go to Gatlinburg with your family, and your family, your immediate family, they have young kids, and they want to go to Dollywood, which by the way, Dollywood's got some badass roller coasters.
Yeah,
not kidding. But Dolly Parton does not sell beer at Dollywood.
No way.
So
no way.
It was kind of a double whammy. We were there on Easter Sunday, and or no, not Easter Sunday. They were closed Easter Sunday. We were there on Saturday, and I was trying to follow the Masters, and love my niece and nephew, but they're young kids. They cry a little bit, just like every young kid does. And what is the best thing to do whenever a kid starts crying? Drink a beer.
So there was no beer, no TVs.
Correct. But it was a great weekend. I had a good time. Got to spend some quality time with the fam. So just like drinking a beer would be one of the greatest things that you could do if you could at, Dollywood, or just like being able to watch a TV, I don't know, when the Masters is on and take a nap. Just like those are some of the best things you can do in life. Another best thing you can do in life is head on over to the House Bar in Tigerland. Jeff and Casey are in full-blown springtime mode. They have all the games on the TVs, best pizza, best Miller Lite in Tigerland. I'm saying it here. You heard it first. They also have the best other domestic beers and other beers too. Everything about the house in Tigerland is fantastic. Make sure to get on over there this spring. Graduation's coming up. Can you believe it? All these young professionals are about to enter the workforce or do whatever, they enter the world. They're about to head on into their journey of life. But all that to say, I think they're going to be celebrating graduation at the House Bar in Tigerland. Head on over there today. Make sure to follow them on social media and at houseintigerland.com. All right. Like we said at the beginning of the show, I got a couple little miss segments.
Okay.
LSU gymnastics headed off to, I think they're in the top 4, correct, in Fort Worth, Texas.
Yeah.
We actually had a guy at work. He came into work this morning. He had a big smile on his face. He said, "I'm leaving at 3 today for Fort Worth." He's probably not even there yet.
Really?
So wouldn't that be cool if they ended up winning the national championship and we got 2 natties in, I don't know, 3 weeks?
So who are the other teams there? I think there's more teams there.
I have no idea. To be honest with you, I have absolutely no idea. But I do
Florida,
know
Cal, and Denver.
Right. So we're in the Final Four of the gymnastics. So as we talk about all the time on here, it's like, what a great time.
No, I think there's 8 left. Yes.
Are you sure?
There's 2 semifinals
Oh,
Sessions.
well,
Yes.
well, whatever. 4, 8 doesn't matter.
8 teams left. Yeah,
we're LSU,
and we're banged up team going into this.
Whatever.
So
fine.
impressive to make it this far with a banged up team. I think our best 2 players got hurt.
Well, yeah, they probably got hurt whenever the landing gear of the plane
Yeah.
was rubbing because they had mud all
Probably
in
a damn Oklahoma fan driving.
It was probably a crawfish got stuck in the wheel well of the plane. Yeah, anyway, they ended up getting a new plane, but I thought that was kind of a bizarre headline. All right, Luffy, I got one more little quick segment after we kind of close out the show. But thank you guys so much for listening. We cannot thank y'all enough. This is the greatest time of year, the springtime, because you know what? That means summertime's right around the corner. LSU baseball is rocking and rolling. Get out to the box this weekend, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I haven't looked at the weather yet. I think it's going to be some spotty showers. Going to be overall nice. Play another tough SEC opponent in Kentucky. If you see Luffy out there, buy him a thing of hot nuts and a Mr. Pibb or a Michelob Ultra. Preferably an Ultra. All right. Shout out to all of our great sponsors, Blaine Loop, the House Bar in Tigerland, Workbox LLC, DraftKings, and the Boot Crew Media Network. And Luffy, to close out the show, I want your opinion of this statement said by an LSU great. I don't have the exact statement, but he said that Angel Reese is the single greatest athlete to ever come through LSU, and that includes himself. Do you know who said that?
Shaq.
So Shaq, the Shactus, the big Aristotle, thought he went on his podcast and he said that, and I don't know why he had to go there.
It's clickbait. It's clickbait. But
Shaq's too cool to be a clickbait.
But he's not. He's a marketing genius. He's he's in 75 commercials. Everybody in the world knows who Shaq is. Sports people don't only know who Shaq is. Everyone knows who it is. Like if you ask a random person on the street, they'd be like, "Oh yeah, that's Shaq. He's in every single commercial ever."
Shaq.
He used to play basketball. They're not going to know if he played for the Lakers or played at LSU. Sports fans will know, but not a random person on the street. But he is a marketing genius.
I don't like clickbait. I don't like associating. Shaq's too cool for that.
He was Colin Cowherding.
That's a verb now in the Webster's.
Don't you think where he says something or has a take that he knows will go crazy online?
He's Skip Bayless. He knows what he's doing. Skip Bayless just only does the most unpopular thing.
Theirs are completely ridiculous. There's a way that Cowherd does it where he kind of makes you believe that's what he thinks. And it's not that outlandish, but he knows it'll get a huge reaction out of people.
Yeah, I just hated to see
the Skip and Stephen A is the Cowboys, right. They have all kind of different takes.
Buzzwords, clickbait. Yeah. We would never do that here.
No, absolutely not.
Go Tigers.